Alright guys, today we're going to do a video on my selection of guns, or well, pistols mainly. We'll break it down into two divisions, over and under $500. $500 tends to be that kind of breaking point where guns, or well, pistols seem to have a little bit more time put into them when they're built. The under $500 ones seem to be kind of your value ones, you know, your best bang for your buck, and your over $500 tend to be a little bit more well built, a little bit more specified, a little better tolerances, such as, you know, things such as that. And with those two divisions, we'll divide them. Under $500, we're going to go for your normal in-the-house guns, where you don't really mind the size of it. You know, you still don't want a large pistol, you know, like a 5-inch barrel, nothing like that, but you don't mind having a full-size grip or nothing like that, because you're not going to carry it. That'll be one category. Then we're going to have single stack, larger caliber pistols, basically anything other than the micro pistols, such as the little baby 380s. And then we'll have the little baby 380s, which I call mouse pistols. Anything you can fit in your pocket easily. And also, of course, revolvers. I'm not going to forget you revolver fans. So let's start out. My first one's going to be the CZ75 P07. This is a polymer lower. It's a double action, single action trigger. If you don't like striker fired pistols, this would be a good option for you to use. I personally own one of these and absolutely love it. This one says 10+1 because it's California compliant. They actually hold 15+1 in a 9mm. Of course, I think you can get them in a 40 and I don't believe you can get them in a 45 yet, and they haven't made that frame size larger. You get a lot of nice options with these, such as the interchangeable back strap, you know, your forward serrations. It's just all around good pistol. Again, we're under the $500 mark. Price point on this one is about $460 plus tax. And guys, when I mean under $500, I don't mean $499 plus tax. I mean tax out the door. You're still under $500. Next up, the Ruger SR series. You got the SR9, the SR40, SR45, and then of course you got the SR9Cs and the SR40Cs, which are your compacts, you know, a little bit more carryable. But the compact models, they still come with your full-size magazine and a sleeve, so that if you do so desire, you can have your full grip and a short barrel. Therefore, if you want to carry it inside the waistband or something like that, if you're comfortable carrying a double-stacked weapon, you can have the shorter magazine and carry it comfortably. If you want to leave it in your truck or your house and you want full capacity, you can slide in that full capacity 17 or 15 round magazine, depending on if you have a 40 or 45, 40 or a 9. And there you go, you got a full grip. This as well has a flippable back strap. You know, you can dial it in on how your hand is. That's great. It's a striker fired. Has the trigger safety as well as the manual safety, ambidextrous manual safety, ambidextrous mag release as well. Super easy to take down. All you do is push out a little pin. 3-dot sights, all your normal stuff. Picatinny rail. This one comes in. You can normally get this out the door at about $400 to $420. Great gun. I've had these as well. Next up is the regular XD, not the XDM, but the regular XD. This is the non-match models. You can get these in all different sizes and calibers. They make these just about whatever you want. You're going to be right at $500 out the door on these. A lot of guys are familiar with the XDs. You got the backstrap safety as well as the trigger safety. You know, as far as striker fire pistols go, these XDs have great factory triggers. Absolutely just great factory triggers. And you know, that's a good thing, because you really don't want to alter triggers on a carry gun or any type of defense weapon, because altered trigger is, you know, it's a liability in the court of law. So we try to stick with guns that, one, feel good in your hand, and two, have a trigger that you like, because you really don't need to mess with it. Again, the XD, Springfield XD, right at $500 out the door in any different size and caliber you would want. Next up, the new Sigma series from Smith & Wesson. It's not really that new, but you know, it's evolved from their older models that just, you know, for lack of a better word, they suck. The SW series, they just suck. They're not reliable. They were just crap. But the new SD ones, they're a lot better. This is the SD9 VE. They hold 15 rounds if they're non-California compliant ones. Have the trigger just like the M&P, but they're stouter. You're going to get about an 8-pound trigger on these. So if you have a weak trigger pull, I wouldn't recommend this one. Definitely a tough trigger pull on these, but I do like them. They have real nice aggressive serrations forward and back on the slide. I love a good aggressive serration. Just love it. There's no other manual safety, just that trigger safety, just like an M&P. It's non-ambidextrous or nothing like that. So good price point on these though. You're well under $400, well under $400 out the door, tax and all. Next up, we'll look at the car. You can get cars just like the Springfield XD. They make them in all sizes and shapes and fashions. These are a absolute minimalistic style pistol. No safeties. Nothing's ambidextrous. There's no extra nothing. There's no rails. I mean, you just get a bare bones, super light, most of the time reliable pistol. You know that we've only had one problem out of the car. Warranty department fixed this right up. No hesitation, no issues with that. So good customer support for them so far. My mom carries a car, and so does my grandpa. They both like it. They carry the CW9, which is basically the smaller frame single stack version. This is the TP9. They're full size. They don't really make large guns. They're kind of low capacity, but they're still thin, super light, and that's what I really like about it. Super light. Again, striker fire, double action only, as your normal. Out the door, you're probably going to be right at $500 in this particular model. Again, car makes tons of different sizes and calibers, so it really just depends on what specific model you go for on your price. Next up, we got the Taurus Millennium G2 PT111. I personally own one of these. We won one once, and so I decided to go get another one. This is a great gun so far. This is a very strange gun. It's a striker fire, but it has a double and single action trigger. It's a double single action striker trigger. If you can wrap your mind around that, it's different. It takes some getting used to. I'm still not sure if I like it or not, but you know, I know if you're a revolver fan, you love that single double action trigger, and you just hate those striker fire triggers on a pistol. Give this a try. See what you like. You know, ambidextrous safety on these. You got a little small rail on the front, 3-dot sights. This one holds, I believe, 12 plus 1. 12 plus 1, that's right, on the 9mm. On the Tauruses, be sure you get the Generation 2s. We've had so many problems out of those first generations with Taurus, and their customer service is just a pain in the butt unless you're law enforcement. But overall, this is a decent gun. It's small framed. You can carry it as well if you'd like. You're going to be right at $300 out the door on this one. Alright, so we'll close down this window. Next up is going to be our single stack small frames. Not yet to the tiny frames. This here is the Ruger LC9S Pro. The difference between the regular LC9S and the Pro is, on the Pro you do not have a manual safety and there's no magazine disconnect. Therefore you can pull the trigger and fire the weapon without the magazine seated in the gun. These hold a 7 plus 1 capacity. 9mm has the striker fire, so much better improvement on the trigger from the LC9. Those of you that have had LC9 just know that trigger absolutely horrible. This new LC9S, the striker fire version, is so much better. I was playing with one today and I really liked it. Out the door, I forgot to look up the price on this one. I believe it's around $400 or less on this one. Can't quite remember the exact price. Next up, Smith & Wesson Shield. Probably one of the best in your hand feeling guns in my opinion. I know everybody's hand is different, and you know the best way to find a gun that you like is to go play with it, fondle it, see what feels good to you. But the Smith & Wesson Shield just feels great in my hand. Again, they have that really tough trigger now, so be mindful of that. It's crisp, but it's tough. You have two models on the M&P Shields. You have ones with and without the extra manual safety on the side. If that's what you want, you know, you have that option. This one holds 8 plus 1 on the extended mag and 7 plus 1 on the regular flush mount. Non-ambidextrous on most of it. Out the door, you're going to be right at about $400 on these as well. Another good buy. Next up, Springfield XD-S. The S in the XD stands for single stack. For those that didn't know, you do have the options of back straps on this one, the extended magazine with the sleeve. I don't know if you've seen that, but Springfield really hooks you up when it comes to buying their XD models. I mean, they give you everything you want. You know, magazine holder, holster for your weapon, extra fiber optic for your front sight. Even though I absolutely hate fiber optic on a carry gun, it will break off. Not if, but when it breaks off, it will. I promise. You draw that thing out of inside the waistband holster enough, it will break eventually. This one has all XDs have that grip safety as well. That, if that's something you like as well. Kind of refers to the 1911 guys. Striker fire, of course, ambidextrous mag release on it. You're going to be about $450 out the door on this one, but like I said, you do get a lot with these XDs. Springfield really hooks you up, so it's worth the money if you're an XD fan. Next up, the Glock. Always got to have a Glock. Everybody needs a Glock. Glock in 1911 was in a revolver. Everybody needs a 1911. Everybody needs a Glock, and everybody needs a revolver. This is the Glock 42, the only Glock that's under $500. You're going to be out the door $450 or less on this one. This is a 380. You could almost put these in your pocket, and some people do. I think it's just a hair too big for your pocket. That's why it's in my classification of single stack non-pocket holding guns. Your normal Glock trigger on it, Glock safe action trigger, that's your only safety on it. Well, external safeties at least. You have your other two internal safeties, as most of you know. Normal Glock sights, holds 6+1 on capacity. Again, it's 380 caliber, $450 or less out the door on these. Next up, last on our single stack carry guns, the Kahr CW9. This is the one my mom and my grandpa carries. 7+1 capacity on it. You're out the door well under $400 out the door. You cannot beat it. If you are okay with no safeties and you want a super light gun, this is it. This is it. They have the triggers take some getting used to because they break all the way to the rear, kind of like the LC9s did, but they're striker fire, so it really ain't that bad. So we'll go on to the next ones, which will be our micro little pocket pistols. The Ruger LCP is first on the list. I have one of these in my pocket right now. I love them. I love them because they're so light. I don't mind that hard, difficult trigger because it's deliberate. In a self-defense situation, you won't mind that deliberate trigger, I promise. No safeties on these, so I don't know if that's something that bothers you or not. It doesn't bother me. I like them. You keep them in a good holster. You ain't got nothing to worry about. This one holds 6+1, 380 caliber out the door. You're still well under $400 mark. Well under $400. I think you can usually catch them on sale for $300. Can't beat it. You can get them with lasers and all kinds of little doodads if you do so wish. Next up is the M&P Bodyguard. I used to own one of these and I really liked it. Again, real tough trigger. This comes with the integrated laser. You can get them without. Has an external safety if you do so wish. That's something, if you like it, you can go with this one. This one holds 6+1 as well, and you're probably right at the $400 mark out the door. Maybe a little less. It's been a while since I bought one of these. Smith & Wesson always makes a good product, so you can't go wrong with it. Next up is the little baby Kahr. I keep going back to these Kahrs. I have nothing bad to say about them. You're still under the $400 mark on this one. Holds 6+1 capacity on 380. Fits in your pocket just great, but again, no safety, so make sure you have a good holster. And lastly but not least, we'll go to the revolvers. You see me go into Ruger a lot. Now, I know there's some historical blemishes with Ruger and their patriotism and such, but for the most part, I don't have anything bad to say about any Ruger product. I absolutely love their products. They have never failed me. I've bashed them and bashed them and bashed them. They just hold on up. This one's the LCR. You're going to be right at $450 or less out the door on this one. This is your 38+P polymer frame, super light. It's not hammerless. Come on, guys, quit saying hammerless when it comes to a revolver. There's no such thing as a hammerless revolver. It's a spurless or internal hammer. It has to have a hammer to fire. Come on, guys. You're driving me nuts with these hammerless words. No such thing. Anyway, I digress. 5-shot, 38 special plus P capacity, 1.87-inch barrel if you care about barrel length. Again, $450 or less out the door. That's the Ruger. Rossi is next. 38 special and plus P ability on this one as well. Rossi makes a couple different options on these little revolvers that are under $500. Well under $500 most part. I've never heard anything bad about Rossi. I know for a fact their customer support is it is a division of Taurus, which is weird. You would think their customer service would be Taurus's customer service, but no, they're actually separate, or at least they were a couple years when I called them. It may have changed by now, but this specific model is the Rossi 352. You're looking at $300 for this one. Again, Rossi's just a good little under $500 revolver. You can't beat it, and so is Taurus. You know, I've owned a Taurus. One was stolen from me, unfortunately. They make a good revolver. It's never malfunctioned, never come out of time. It's always had a good lockup and all that. You can get them plus P, 357 Magnum. You know, you can get them whatever you want for under $500. You just can't beat it. This specific one is the Taurus 85 Ultralight 38 Special, non-plus P. You cannot shoot plus P through this one. Well, you can, but I wouldn't advise it. 2-inch barrel, and you're looking at about $330 or so out the door on this one. Good little pistol. Oh, and it had a bobbed hammer, if I didn't mention that. The hammer will come back as you pull the trigger. It's double action only. You will see the hammer, but it doesn't have a spur, so it's spurless or bobbed, whatever terminology you like. Rock Island recently come out with, oh, excuse me, I bumped the camera there. Rock Island recently come out with their line of revolvers. I've always been a fan of Rock Island, so I don't see why this shouldn't be on my list. I know they haven't had time to really prove themselves, but it is what it is. You know, I like Rock Island. Haven't seen anything bad come from them, so I decided to put them on the list. This is the 38 Special. This is not plus P rated. Not plus P. The Model 2 M200, 6-round capacity on this one, and you're about 250 or less out the door. Can't beat it, guys. Just can't beat it. Last but not least, Smith & Wesson's Bodyguard 38 Special. This one has the integrated laser, just like their automatic version. You're going to be about 450 or maybe just a hair under out the door on this one. Double action only as well. Internal hammer. 5-shot capacity, 38, not plus P compatible. Not plus P. If you want the plus P, you're going to have to go with that LCR or a different model. But let's face it, guys, in a self-defense situation, you know, you really only need a 38, or you don't need all that extra powder and penetration. This is going to do enough damage, I promise. You see I'm using Bud's Gun Shop. I will make a note. Bud's Gun Shop does not pay me in any way, shape, fashion, or form. I merely just use them as a way to show you a different arrangement of guns and prices, because they tend to be very consistent with what I see in stores. So it was just kind of helpful and beneficial.